Today I come to you with another Can It Be Fixed project. And that project is going to consist of putting these two wheels back together and adding the tire and the tube. My hope is to show you how I'm going to put this together and attach it back to the 125M Honda three-wheeler. It's a 1987 model. I've been working on it. Those have followed along. And this is the project that I would like to get done today. Hope you follow me with it. Enjoy, and we'll learn together. Marvin Schwartz, Can It Be Fixed? It sure can. It just takes a little elbow grease and a realization that you can do it. I have the two hubs in front of me here. I've got them painted, at least primed. The underneath side will stay like that. And once I get the tire on, I will finish painting the centers. The reason I do that is I don't want to scuff it up while I'm trying to work with the tire to get it on. I have the new tube right here. If you remember, this is the tube that I was using or had in it, and it's full of rust. You can see all that rust. We have that taken care of. And of course, the new tire. I got that new tire, and the old tire, if you remember correctly, I got a lot of checking here. It kind of broke when we tried to get it off the rim. The hub was just really difficult to get that off, but my son got it off, and the tire just isn't any good, so we're going to get rid of that. Okay, what you see here are the two hubs, and I've marked it on each hub right where I want them to go. So when I put those together, we will have it right there, that you can see that mark. And then these bolts right here, they're a little rough looking, I know, but we're going to go ahead and get that set up like that. But before I do, I want to take these over to my wire wheel and brush these off. You can follow me over there. Go ahead and get me some gloves here so I don't skin up my fingers. Boy, that hurts when that happens. And I have a pliers here. What I'll do is this right here. We'll just clean them off. Well, sometimes, guys, you just have to know when you're beat. Now, I thought I was going to clean those bolts up, but they kept flipping out of my pliers. And, you know, I got them cleaned somewhat, but I just went and got new ones. I was getting frustrated and it wasn't worth it. You can clean them up, though, and most of the time, I don't have that much trouble, but this time it just wasn't worth it to me, guys. So here we go. I've got new ones, and now we're going to put this together. What I want to do is put this in here like that, and then I'm going to turn it over and find where that tube comes out. That's not what I want to do after. I want this one, the one with the valve stem hole in it. Put that in first, like that. And then I'm going to work this tube in there and put that valve stem where it needs to go. And then I hope I can just bolt this down the way it's supposed to be. But before I do that, I want to see how this valve stem actually fits in the rim. So just bear with me here a minute. Okay, let's get that back out of there. See, this will go like that. Oh yeah, that'll work good. That'll work real good. So, well, let's put it back in there. Just temporarily get her set. And then we're going to work this tube. Like I said, we're going to take this out and we're going to work this tube in there somehow. Let me get it. Let me get it in there. And what I'm going to do is get my air compressor. Okay, we got the chuck. I'm going to put just a little air in this thing. There we go. On the nut. And we're going to take the mark right here and align it with the mark there. It's right there. And what I'm going to do is put my new bolts in. And I'm using a locking nut. It's a nylon lock. That way they won't come off of there. Takes 4 of them. Okay. Okay, now I'm just going to run these together with a little impact. I want to show you a little trick that I learned. The reason I left this like this is so that I can mask it off to paint the center of these wheels. They're unpainted yet. That's just a primer. I'm not leaving them black. I hope to paint it red to match the back side, or the back tires, the wheels. Now what I do is get me a piece of plastic or something that's about the right size. I cut it, tear it, do whatever I need to do. And I find a center approximately. So let's say if the center is right here, it's pretty close. I grab that, I go like this, and then I twist it just a little bit, and I hold it right here. I don't want this to go past center. So I'll show you what I mean. So we're going to go right there. I'm going to cut that. And then you drape this over, and you should be able to, perfect, tire mask. There we go. Now all I have to do is tape off that valve stem. I don't want that valve stem to get well, at least the thread's full of paint. You can see I've got this moved over to my paint booth. I try to use state of the art, and we're going to see what this looks like. A little bit of this International Red on it. Usually just give it a real light coat to start with. I found that to work for me. You know what? I probably should put a mask on, shouldn't I? Okay, let's let that set for a bit. Tack up just a little bit. I'll keep shaking this paint. I want to share a story with you while that's drying. It'll take a few minutes. So I want to tell you a story about my dad coming to a job site my two brothers and I were working on. We were asked to straighten a garage. And this garage was leaning several inches into center, up by the roof edge, the bottom eave, and it was bowed from one end to the next. And my brothers and myself, we were standing there scratching our heads, wondering, how are we gonna straighten this out and fix it? And my dad came up there and he said, boys, looking the situation over and seeing how perplexed we were, he looked at us and he said, boys, sometimes you just have to grab it by the horns and run with it. Now, I'm not sure where that statement or expression comes from. I think it actually dates way back in the Bible times. But what he was telling us is, don't overthink it, just start doing it. So that's exactly what we did. We just started jacking here and there, and somehow, by the end of the day, that barn or that garage was straightened. And then the next challenge was how to keep it there after we take the braces off. So we went in the attic and we cross-braced it and did everything we could. You couldn't walk through that attic. There's so many 2x4s, 2x6s, and everything else up there, nailed together. But that garage is still there today, standing, and it's not leaning. So on these projects that I'm bringing to you, you might not have a plan. Most of the time, I don't. I just grab it and go do it. Sometimes I make mistakes and I have to backtrack, but that's all part of it. So what I'm trying to tell you is don't be afraid to do something. Just go do it. And you'll find out that you can do a lot more than what you ever thought you could. I don't know why I want to share that with you today, but that's just another tidbit of advice that I gained from people a lot older than me that I've kept throughout these years. Grab it by the horns and run with it in your next project. Now let's get back to painting this wheel, and enough with the storytelling, okay? Let me show you where I am. I went ahead and painted this side also, and this side. Now I need to let that set and dry for a little bit, and then I will put a little soap around the edges of the tire and put some air in it. Hopefully that'll pop back on the rim. Yep, there's a lot of work to fixing up an old four-wheeler, but hopefully somebody will get some use of it. By the way, I said four-wheeler, I meant three-wheeler. You knew what I meant, didn't you? Anyway, there you have it. Once I get this all back together and this aired up, I will go ahead and install the brake assembly. It'll come in like this and go like that. Put this all back together, put it on the three-wheeler setting over there, and bolt everything back together. I'll bring in when I get closer to that. Okay, I want to show you where I am. I have this painted. Went ahead and put this brake mechanism back on. Hopefully you can see it. It's kind of hard, I know. But there you go. Brake mechanism is on. And you see how I have this all painted up, ready to go. And now we're going to install it. Let's get set up here. And this will go in there. And we will lower. And I'll try to lower it. Okay. Got to get my hands over here. Grab this. Well, let's see here. Oh, there we go. There we go. Now let's get that started. Put her down. See if it'll go. Yep, there we go. And we have these spacers that went in here. I'll take it up just a hair, so I can get that spacer in. Now down just a little. Now a little bit more. Okay, that one's in. Get the nut started. Uh-oh. I said, uh-oh. I see what that's for now. I've got to go up again, don't I? I don't know if you can see it or not, but this has to go in a little slot right there when I put it down. There we go. Now it's lined up. Kinda. Let me go down just a little bit more. Yep. 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 Let me get a pry bar. There, we got this side in. Let's go to the other side. See what we have there. Okay, maybe I can put that up by hand. There we go. Put in this. See, this little round thing spaces it in just the right spot, so make sure we get that in correctly. There we go. Now find a nut for this side. There it is. Put it on. Let's see. Yep. This one right here. Torqued. Now I'll put a torque wrench on it. I'm not sure what the specs are, but we'll figure it out. Boy, that's tight already. Huh. Ah, I get it. If I tighten that one up, it definitely tightens this one. So maybe I have this in the right spot and maybe I don't. We'll see here in a minute. I can get the Carter pin in, so that's a plus. This being what I'm talking about, I'll come around and show you. Okay, let me get you down in here a little closer to the brake. What I'm talking about is there's a slot in this nut that aligns with a hole, and if that isn't exactly lined up, you can't get these in which holds that nut from backing off if it ever comes loose. So let me get the wrench and take that off just a little bit. Back her off just there. A little bit more. Perfect. And then that goes in there. I want a bigger one. See if this will work. Nope, just it's a hair too big. Surely I got something in here that'll work. Let me get some of these out so I can, there's one. No, that's too small. Let's try this one right here. They're either too big or too small. I wonder if I could, oh well. Hey, there we go. Perfect. Perfect. We'll get the pliers and we will, I like to keep this, here let me show you. This right here, I like to keep that like that. See what I'm talking about? See, that's turned. I like to go down into that nut, pound it in, and then I like to grab the back side of it here and bring it up like that. So you can see what I'm talking about. You can get you a little closer here. There you go. And I bring that up, I flatten it like that, and I just take that one back and I flatten it like that. Perfect. Let's go see if the other side's lined up. I'll be right back. Oh, perfect. Hey, that's perfect. You get that bent over just a little bit now. So we got what I need. There we go. And we'll bend that like that. Actually, I want to cut that one off just a little bit. It's a little long. There we go. There we go. And there we go. Now let's take it up again and see how straight it is. Well, I'll be jiggers. That's perfect. For first try, not bad. Okay, now let's see if we can get this back on. It goes right there. I'm not mistaken. That went in. Huh. How is that in there now? There we go. There we go. And this had a spring on it. I found it. Here's the spring. Here's the nut. So we'll go like this, and we'll shove that in there, try to. By the way, this is exactly the same way the back brake went together. And as with the back brake, also with the front brake, there's a couple of different ways to adjust that. And I will show you here momentarily. I shouldn't have put that nut on yet. I see that right now. So let's get this here back freed up. So I got to be able to pull that a little more. Little more. Yes, almost there. Not quite. Let's try that now. There we go. You can see how that slipped in there And now I can pull this a little tighter. Let's see what that does. A little bit more tension. Let's see where we are. Oh, man, that's good. Look at that. Wow. I'm gonna just a hair more. Don't need to pour back quite that far. There we go. Yeah, I'm pleased with that, guys. Yep, I'm pleased with that. Okay. There you have it. Got it all back together in the front end. Now both brakes are working the way they're supposed to. By the way, I did not replace this cable. I was going to. I have a new one sitting over there on my bench, but I could not bring myself to take this old cable off. There's nothing wrong with it. It works just fine. And I couldn't bring myself to replace it. I'll just put the new one on the shelf. Maybe someday I'll put it on here, but for right now I'm going to use the old one. And here's the new one, so you know what I'm talking about. So the new one, everything just like you see it here. It's just, I just didn't want to replace this one. Okay, that's going to finish me up for today. We completed the project that I started out to do this morning. It's taken me a bit longer than I thought, but that seems to be typical with me. I would appreciate also if you would subscribe, like, and hit that notification button. I bring these videos to you because I enjoy doing what I'm doing, and I hope that you can learn the same way that I do. My objective is to show you that things can be fixed if you put a little effort to it. And also, you can fix it. Can it be fixed? It sure can. Like and subscribe. Marvin Schwartz. Thank you. Take care. Love you all.